Oh. Oh. Not again. Uh. Okay. I seriously have no clue what is going on with YouTube. I did the exact same thing as I did last time, and it still doesn't want me to do the webcam, I guess. But I'm here regardless. For those of you that are new here, especially if there are folks from the Catholic Creator, can is this microphone even on? No, I think it is. Oh well, we'll just wait for someone to show up. Welcome in everyone. If you're new here and watching the replay, this is my opportunity where I can just be candidly honest, and that could be about the faith or about video games. We talk about pretty much everything on these live streams. I know I'm not the most entertaining live streamer in the world, but hopefully I can be the one that really helps people feel like they can just have a conversation, talk about whatever. You guys have sorry, the whole like no webcam thing is kind of freaking me out a bit. I seriously have no clue what is going on. Like the last live stream I did was just fine. So for those of you watching the replay, let's talk about the Catholic Creator Conference. So I just got back yesterday, and I'm honestly kind of surprised by how not tired I am. I think just I went to the gym and that was fun. And I think like knowing that I got the workout done only an hour or not an hour, only a day after the conference was pretty energizing. Hey, Jevel, glad you can make it in. What's been up with you lately? I've been gone for the past 3 days, but hopefully my Duck Side of the Moon review tided you over. Have there been Nintendo Life's website hasn't fully loaded yet for its the news. So has anything happened between Thursday and Sunday for Switch and Switch 2 that I should be aware of? Also, can you hear me? If you can't, let me know right away and I can maybe reboot the stream and see what happens. I just, as you know by the title, I just finished going to the Catholic Creator Conference. And I think even people who aren't Catholic would probably really like the pictures I took because it was just, there was a lot of green and it was very hilly. Got me plenty of exercise. You've been playing Legos? Oh, the Complete Saga. I played a little bit of that. I actually played the original Lego Star Wars back when it was on, I played it on PC. And then I think I did the same thing for Complete Saga. But then when it came time for the Skywalker Saga, then I played it on the Switch. But yeah, no, the original Lego Star Wars was a lot of fun. I remember I used to play it co-op with my brother, and we really we really liked how irreverent it was to the original games. The mumble mode, I like how it came back in Skywalker Saga, but I didn't try it because I really like it when Lego games have voice acting. Have you ever played Lego City Undercover? Because that game has some phenomenal voice acting. I'm going to put my jacket on because now that you guys can't see me, it doesn't matter that I'm wearing a hood. But if Ty the One Up guy comes in, I am wearing his t-shirt, so hopefully he can get a little bit of a chuckle out of that. I think, honestly, this might sound stupid. And I know this is mostly for the replay, but I think what I got more out of the Catholic Creator Conference than the talks were the fellowship opportunities and the nostalgia of being back at Franciscan University of Steubenville for the first time since high school and just being like, that's the spot, here's where all the big things happened. I know I complained a lot about that conference in my video, but at the same time, the scenery was one of the best parts of that trip. And again, it wasn't a total waste of time. Like that's where I devoted my life to preaching the gospel. I think it was just that the bad times were so bad that it overtook the good whenever I talk about it. 2 games on sale, 15 oh my gosh, that is amazing. So I actually, recently tried replaying Shadow Labyrinth, and I'm really glad that they added the update that added I think it was called either easy mode or casual mode. Knowing you, you can correct me. And I got relatively far into it, but I still found that it was a bit too hard. But it's a cool concept, and I like how they tried to put more lore into Pac-Man. Um, I'm okay with you spoiling that game in this chat because I have no intention of replaying it. So if you want to go ahead and talk about talk about the lore behind Pac-Man, go for it. You're on veteran mode? Dang, you're a real trooper there, Jevil. I commend you for that. Explorer mode was the one that I played. For the most part, it was enjoyable, but then I forget what it's called. I got to the part where they wanted you to do these gauntlets, and if you failed the gauntlet, you'd have to do it all over again, and that's just when I rage quit. Because I was like, this is supposed to be accessible, but you're having me go through all of these challenges all over again. It got to be a bit too frustrating for me. And also, sorry if the background noise is distracting. I just got to be respectful of my family. I know I'm being pretty annoyed by some kids that are screaming behind me, but hopefully, the parents will call them into dinner soon enough so no one has to be annoyed. Now, one big bit of news for me, Jevel, that I'm curious. Oh, let me read this first. If you get all the symbols on the mazes in Shadow Labyrinth, you could actually make the final boss easy. I think I only saw 1 or 2 mazes. They must be really well hidden. But I do really like how the mazes were incorporated. It did a really good job of recontextualizing the ghosts in a new form. In general, I just thought I think Pac-Man's portrayal in that game, or Puck, as they call him, is really really well done. Yeah. Even if I didn't end up liking the game, I still liked the concept enough where I was satisfied that I rented it. Yeah, I did play both championship editions. That's true. It did actually give that kind of impression. As far as gaming news on my end, I actually have some really exciting news to share. Um, my brother finally found his old Wii, and he's going to let me borrow it. And the reason why that is so significant is because my GameCube is pretty much toast. Like, it can't get past the main menu before it says that the discs can't be read. So I think the little sensor light that reads the bottom of the discs is just completely fried. Pretty sure we've had that GameCube for like who knows how long we've had that. So it's about time it gave out. So I plan on playing Ocarina of Time, Master Quest, Twilight Princess. What were the other 2? A little bit of Luigi's Mansion, but not too much because I can't stand that game. I just want to do the side by side of them censoring out the Pikmin demo from the Switch 2 version. Eventually, Mario Party 8. I'm not going to do too many Wii games. It's mainly going to be for GameCube stuff. So, like I said, Ocarina of Time, Master Quest, Twilight Princess. I can't remember the other 2 for some reason. It'll come. Oh, wait, it's coming back to me. Yeah, I lost it. Oh well. But actually, I've never played Mario Party 8. I have a friend of mine who has Mario Party 4, and I've actually never played Mario Party 4 either. I have this really weird habit with the Mario Party games on the GameCube where I I only played the odd numbered ones. So I played 5 and 7, but not 4 and 6. I don't even know why that happened. 6, I think the reason why I didn't play that was that I didn't have the microphone. But 7, a friend had it. So I was able to play it at their house or at his house, and he and his siblings happened to have a microphone. For 4, I don't know. I literally have no clue what I was thinking, why I never played that. In Mario Party 8, you can hold 5 items. That is cool. But honestly, Mario Party 8 kind of scares me a little bit just because it relied so much on motion controls that kind of puts me off a bit because I'm really over the whole like Wii remote craze. I know I really liked it a long time ago, but nowadays it kind of felt like the Wii was one of those systems where it was like you make or break it with the motion controls. We Yeah, no, I agree 100%. Trying to play Skyward Sword HD with the Joy-Cons was a nightmare. Made me feel good when I did manage to land a hit though. But I definitely prefer playing Skyward Sword with buttons. To switch motion, like trying to play the Galaxy games with the gyro pointer. Yo, it's Lodo! Oh my gosh, you bought the DS version of 999. That's great. I hope my voice didn't crack so much that it broke the stream. But glad you could make it in. I I promised Jevil that when we spoiled Zero Escape, I would make a whole stream about it, which you mentioned in the email. Oh, that's right. You wanted me to call you by your real name. Uh, Let me just double check that. Make sure I was reading your email right. Do you want me to call you by your real name here in chat? Because I did in the video that I made with your pictures. I just really want to make sure I'm not like having anyone dox you. But oh, that's great. I should warn you though, the DS version has a lot, and I mean a lot of reading. It doesn't have the option to just like have mostly talking. Sure, that's fine. Good. So everyone, Lodo's real name is David, and he sent me a bunch of pictures of a me of me on his island in Tomodachi Life. And so I made a whole video where I reacted to not all of them, but a good deal of pictures of me interacting with like other characters from games that I love. So stay tuned for that. The censor by Like It or Not, so, what made the sensor bar so good is that it was infrared technology, which meant that the Wii remote would send out an invisible red light, and the sensor bar would detect where in 3D space the red light was. And that's why it worked so much better than the Switch, because that used gyro sensing, which only uses wrist movements. Hey, Kevin, glad you could make it in. Oh man, what good timing that you could come in because I just got back from the Catholic Creators Conference yesterday. Sorry if I'm talking weird. I got a really out of place nose hair that is driving me crazy. Um, but yeah, the webcam's being stupid again. I'm sorry, but yeah, no. Bottom line about Catholic Creator Conference, I met some cool people. Um, I finally found out, thanks to those people, that you can message and video chat with people on Instagram. I never knew that. That is genuinely cool. Might make me follow more people on Instagram now because then I won't have to rely on things like Google Chats if someone doesn't have a Gmail account. Really like 999, couldn't put the game down. Same. On my first playthrough, I was exactly the same. Yes, thank you for keeping quiet about it. If you okay, so let me you can talk about the first escape room, and you can talk about the characters meeting up and exchanging names. I think that's fair to say that stuff because it's within the first 2 hours. Oh, my video about Comic-Con. Thank you. It wasn't a bath; it was a shower, which makes it even worse because if it was a bath, I would have probably noticed the leaks. But yeah, no, I really, really loved the scenery. I think more than half of the video was me talking about the scenery of the Franciscan University. And oh, Jevil, speaking of what was it? Dragon Quest. I heard that Dragon Quest 11 is getting a Switch 2 edition. I'm just gonna tell you guys right now, you're probably gonna hate me for this. Um, but I'm sorry, guys. I'm not an OG fan. I did review Dragon Quest XI when it came out on the Switch, and I had very mixed thoughts on it. And so I looked at the Switch 2 notes, And all it said was just increased performance and resolution. And I just said, yeah, that's not good enough for me to review it. Because I basically have to review the whole game again to make sure that I didn't encounter any stutters that weren't there in the original game. I didn't know that that's where Lodo came from. Thank you for that origin story. There's a new Dragon Quest game coming out called Beyond Dreams. I didn't hear about that. That's cool. That's really cool, Jevil. I don't know if I'll play it because Dragon Quest XI kind of scared me a bit. Dragon Quest XI is one of your favorites. I will admit, it's better than all the other Dragon Quest games. Not saying much because I haven't played too many of them, but from what I've seen, I really liked some of the things that they added to the series. I really liked the orchestral music. I thought that was absolutely glorious. Riding the horse was really fun. I really liked how they added like all those new character specific chapters where you got to like see more of what your party was up to during a certain point in the game's narrative. But if I'm being honest, the only reason I persevered through that game was because of the orchestral music. If it had been like synthesized, I don't think I would have tried it out. Because I remember that was a selling point for me, honest. Well, not a selling point, a renting point. Was it said, you are going to have a fully orchestrated soundtrack. And I just said, I'm sold. I need standards when it comes to music, guys. You guys need to help me out. Dragon Quest Monsters 4, I didn't even know there was a Dragon Quest Monsters 3. Last I checked, Dragon Quest Monsters 2 was like majorly delayed for the Switch or something like that. Either that or I'm just thinking of Gamefly. But let's just say that I'm glad that I played Dragon Quest XI, but I don't think I'll ever replay it. But I'm happy for you guys. You had to replay the Switch version. Yes, exactly. And what's really interesting is that the other systems eventually did get the definitive edition, but it was like its own release. It wasn't DLC or an update, which I thought was so stupid. But we Switch owners got to have the definitive edition first. But there is an option to play the synthesized soundtrack, although I did some side by side because you can switch on and off. Oh, the synthesized soundtrack was terrible. Maybe you guys like it, but I'm the type of guy where my favorite music is orchestral. And so it's pretty hard for me to like a system or to like a soundtrack that is synthesized. Although a few exceptions are Sonic Mania, Undertale, Deltarune, Celeste. Some of the Danganronpa music is all right. It gets the job done. Yeah, I beat it and I did most of the post game. Those HD 2D remakes, they're totally not my thing. They're a bit too old school for my taste, but they look phenomenal in terms of like the graphics. I think it's really cool that they like tried to make it faithful to what people liked about the old games while still like modernizing the graphics. Because from what I could tell, the original games had really rough controls. And I think people also thought the random battles were weird. Gen Z likes both versions of songs. Yeah, it depends. It's true that I don't meet too many other people that like orchestral music as much as me. But here's what most people don't realize about me, and that's that I like orchestra music, but I don't like classical music. And a lot of people have said, but Paul, that's the same thing. But from what I can tell, classical music is like certain parts of it are really quiet, but then like all of a sudden it'll just blare really loudly. Whereas orchestral music is usually pretty consistent. Like you get like basically anything from Super Mario Galaxy, and there's no point at which you feel like you can't hear it. Do I like the Cantina band? Yeah, they were pretty good. But I think I would consider that more of jazz than orchestra. Jazz is my second favorite type of music. Am I going to check out Mina the Hollower? I actually already did. I played the demo on Switch 2, and I found that it was quite punishing. Now, to be fair, I've never been the biggest fan of 2D Zelda games. The only 2D Zelda game I really like is A Link Between Worlds. There's a bit of an inside joke on my channel that in 2024, I put RZ, the Jewel of Faramore, as my number 2 game, and yet Echoes of Wisdom wasn't on my list at all. Yes, Mina the Hollower was made by the Shovel Knight devs. Speaking of Shovel Knight, they announced that they were going to have a remake of the original Shovel Knight, but that was like back in, I think, either 2024 or 2025 that they made that announcement, and we haven't heard anything since. So if they make one though, I do plan on reviewing it because I reviewed the original Shovel Knight, the Switch version of it. I liked it. I wouldn't say it was like a groundbreaking 10 out of 10 type of experience, but for what it was a fun experience. And I think Shovel Knight Showdown was pretty decent too. Didn't stop me from being excited out of my mind when I was playing Yooka-Laylee and I saw Shovel Knight appear in the very first level of the game, and then I got a Shovel Knight outfit to dress up Yuka and Laylee in. Yeah, no, I'm really excited for that new Mega Man. Um, it's not coming out until 2027, but hey, it at least confirms that there will be Switch 1 games coming out going into 2027, which means that the Switch 1 will officially have a lifespan of 10 years, possibly more, because Nintendo hasn't shown any indication that they're going to be slowing down anytime soon. One thing that I was really excited about, I'm surprised you didn't bring it up, Jevil, is Donkey Kong 64 is coming to Switch Online on June 4th. Now, I've had very mixed feelings about Donkey Kong 64, but I'm still really excited to try this one. Excuse me, guys, I got to throw the ball back for some kids. Sorry about that. My next door neighbors were playing baseball and the ball came into our yard. Mega Man is one series you haven't got into except for the Legend games. So I've actually never played the Legend games. So I'm curious, are they like mostly shooter games? Because if they are, then you can bet that I certainly won't be playing them. Donkey Kong 64 is your favorite childhood game. I've encountered quite a lot of people that really love Donkey Kong 64. In fact, I'm pretty sure it has a 90 on Metacritic. Like, people really like that game. It's more so people that play it later on in life that tend to not like it. Mainly just the camera controls and the constant switching between Kongs is like the biggest things that people complain about. Break the ball? I don't think I'm strong enough for that just yet. I've only been working out my arms for a couple of months now, but I have seen a difference and I felt a difference in my arms. No one at the conference noticed. Speaking of the conference, I think you guys will be happy to hear that there were a grand total of 4 people that recognized me at the conference. 2 of them didn't recognize me by my face. They just, as soon as we were exchanging information, and I said, "Oh, hey, my channel's the Catholic Gaming Nerd," and they said, "Oh, you're the Catholic Gaming Nerd." One of them said he was subscribed to my channel for like 8 months. So that was pretty cool. And in the video, you'll see that I got pictures with 3 out of the 4 people that recognized me. But yeah, no, for me, like I beat Donkey Kong 64, but playing it on original hardware without any save states was an absolute nightmare. Like trying to play the Donkey Kong arcade game twice it was awful. Sega said they were bringing back many classic IPs. I've never played Jet Set Radio. What kind of gameplay is that like? I would be interested in trying out Crazy Taxi or Billy the Hatcher or Nights into Dreams. They all sound very fun. How was the food? Uh, Almost non-existent because we had like relatively minimalistic lunches and then we had to get our own dinners. We went to, I forget what it's called, some Irish pub the first night. And then the second night we went to KFC. And I really liked KFC a lot. I hadn't been there since Hadn't been there since 2024. It was nice to be back. Sega says what Nintendo, you know it. Welcome in, Matthew. Is it a sin to kiss your girlfriend? This was actually something that really confused me when I first got into a relationship. Is I was all for waiting until marriage. But then my dad was like, "Paul, you don't want to be a monk. You have to show at least some affection for your girlfriend." So I would say that I don't think there's anything in the catechism that has like a definitive statement. Like I'm pretty sure if you kissed her on like the cheek or the hand or the forehead, I think you'd be fine. But it is a scientific fact that if you kiss on the lips long enough, certain things may start happening that God doesn't approve of. So I would say I personally think that you should wait until marriage to kiss on the lips, just because again, that stuff that starts happening. But I think if you do like a small peck on the cheek or the forehead or the hand, and if you do decide you want to kiss on the lips, do it for like 2 seconds and then quickly pull apart. It's tempting, but reel it in. Trust me, as someone who might have gone a little bit too far, I can say, yeah, not worth it. They call it the Sega Uni. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. You kiss your mom, so you never thought it was weird. Kissing is not always intimate. In rule, men kiss women. Oh yeah. I think it depends on the context. Like I know some people where they kiss on the lips, even just as a greeting. So I would say that's probably fine if it's like a second or two, but like don't like go on and on like you see in the movies. What about cuddling? Again, it depends on how you're cuddling and like what you're feeling during it. Like I would say when my girlfriend and I cuddled, I don't think I had any crazy temptations when we were just like hugging. Um it was if we did anything else where the temptations would start coming. But I think if you like put your arm around her shoulders or hold her hand, I think you'd be fine. As long as you're able to like not commit adultery. Like if you don't remember anything else that I'm saying, just underline do not commit adultery, meaning at the moment she is your girlfriend, not your wife. So don't blur the line and treat her like a wife before you're married. That's basically the bottom line. You have a Dreamcast with Crazy Taxi. Very nice. KFC. Oh my gosh. That's crazy that they got brand recognition. I've never played Crazy Taxi, nor have I even played the Dreamcast. I probably couldn't even tell you what the controller looks like. But I am very interested in the prospect of Sega possibly bringing back Dreamcast games. I think my most wanted Dreamcast game at the moment would probably be Sonic Adventure, closely followed by Sonic Adventure 2. Because I played a little bit of Sonic Adventure 2 Battle on the GameCube, and I think I'm trying to remember where I got stuck. I think it was that level where you played as Knuckles in this like Halloween type of setting, and I just could not find the Chaos Emeralds that he was searching for. Then again, this was a long time ago, so maybe I've improved since then. But I wouldn't be opposed to borrowing those games if someone had that. Companies should lend their likenesses. Yeah, that's true, but it also leads to a lot of delistings. Like, for example, Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020 got delisted from the eShop because the Olympic Games decided to be stupid. And they're just like, yeah, we're just going to switch over to NFTs. Which, to be fair, I don't know anything about NFTs, but I would think, like, don't make a game that's going to put you at legal risks if it's just going to be delisted eventually. That's why I think the whole like Michael Jackson controversy was kind of stupid because Sega should have known that that kind of stuff would get them in trouble one of these days. Although to be fair, when I played Sonic Origins and I heard the new versions of Michael Jackson songs, I couldn't go back. They were so superior. Those are good games and the ports are iffy. Oh, Pumpkin Mountain. Is that the same as the Pumpkin Mansion in oh no, that wouldn't be because I think Pumpkin Mansion is from Sonic Heroes. I've never actually played Sonic Heroes. I will have Sonic Heroes footage playing in my best memories video if all goes according to plan, but it's not me playing. It's very much I just took it from another YouTuber. But don't worry, I made sure to credit the original YouTuber. And I'll mention this in the video, but basically if I don't credit something, you can guess that it's me playing. Star Wars Clone Wars is criminally underrated. You know, I think my brother played that on the GameCube, or at the very least he played something similar. And I remember thinking it had pretty good graphics, and whoever the voice actor for Obi-Wan was, he did a pretty good job. If it was actually Ewan McGregor, I think he did a better job. Um, I think he did a better job in that than he did in the movies. It's Pumpkin Hill, okay. Sonic Heroes was another childhood favorite. Yeah, I wish I could play Sonic Heroes. I don't even remember why I didn't get into it. Um, that's the thing about me with the GameCube is I tended to gravitate towards the first party games, and third party I would only occasionally try out. Like most of my GameCube lineup was like all the big ones that you hear about, like Super Smash Bros. Melee, the Zelda games. I think I played every single Zelda game on the GameCube, even Zelda Collector's Edition, which is stupid rare and stupid expensive now. But um, yeah, I was dumb back then. I didn't realize that GameCube games would eventually rise in price, so I ended up selling it, which I deeply regret because that would have been great for my YouTube channel. But at least I got to play it, and at least my brother let me borrow Master Quest, and so I'll be able to play that, and I'll have a YouTube video with the bonus GameCube, um, one of the bonus GameCube videos. Sonic Heroes and the show Sonic X came out on the same day. Very, very nice. They took down one of your favorite games, The Rec Room. Is it sad when I think about The Rec Room? I think about, I shouldn't say what I'm thinking about because it's a bit of a spoiler. I've actually never heard of Rec Room. If it wasn't on a Nintendo system, that's probably why. Yeah, that's a real shame when games get delisted. But you know what's even more of a shame? It was when, what's the word I'm looking for? When Super Mario 3D All-Stars was delisted after only 6 months. Still, in my opinion, one of the stupidest decisions Nintendo's ever made. No one did. GameCube games became expensive during the pandemic. Yeah, so when I first played GameCube games, I thought to myself, like, I wasn't thinking about YouTube. And as a result, like, if I had started my YouTube channel back when I actively was able to get GameCube games for a reasonable price, you can bet I probably wouldn't have sold any of them. But as it was, I would often say things like, well, I got Ocarina of Time 3D on the 3DS, so now I don't need Master Quest. And I regret that to this day, but not too much, because I did a life confession about, I like to say about a month ago. And after I did that, I don't really feel like I've had any major regrets since then. It was 150 players? That's insane. With crossplay. Physical copy of All Stars? Yeah, I have it digital. Nintendo pulled the original fight. Yeah, I did remember that. I just figured none of you would care. But thank you, Lodo, for affirming that I am a Fire Emblem fan. Not of that one, though. It was so bad I couldn't even finish. I think it was like level 3 before I gave up. But I did make a video called Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon DS to Switch Comparison, where I showed footage of both versions, and I talked about how I really hated the DS version of Shadow Dragon, like pretty much ever since it came out. But then I started to appreciate it more after I played Shadow Dragon on the Switch. I was like, oh man, they really added a lot to it. To this day, in my opinion, Shadow Dragon is still one of the worst the DS version, I should say. Like, it's good if you don't have any other option to play Fire Emblem. But if you're like me, where you've literally played every single Fire Emblem game that's ever been released in North America, except for Shadows, I'm not a social deduction guy, including every version. Like, I played the GBA Fire Emblem games on GBA carts, the Wii U Virtual Console, and Switch Online. So a very, very dedicated Fire Emblem junkie. But Shadow Dragon was just always one of my least favorites because it felt like it was, I guess I would call it Diet Fire Emblem. Like weapon levels could only go up to A instead of S. There were no support conversations. The story was practically non existent. And the coolest twist in the game happened on the third level, which, mind you, the third level was only in the remake. It wasn't in the original version. And that was cool. But then as soon as it got into the levels that were actually in the original, that's when I said, my gosh, this is so bland. Yeah, like I think I would give it like probably a 7 if I were to play it nowadays. Good enough, but definitely among like the lower tier of Fire Emblem games. Well, technically that's what Shadow Dragon was. It was a remake of the first game. It just needs a better remake, in my opinion. And technically, Shadow Dragon was the second time it was remade. Or actually, I think it was the fourth time because there was New Mystery of the Emblem, then there was Mystery of the Emblem, which in itself was a remake, and then there was Shadow Dragon, and then technically the Switch version was a remake because it had quality of life features. Thank you for saying that you can hear me. Better late than never. I have no idea how much this microphone can pick up, so if I'm shouting too much, I apologize. Then again, I live on a highway, so maybe I'm just used to shouting because there's so many cars all over the place. But as far as my favorite Fire Emblem game, this may be a bit of a hot take, but I think I'm going to have to go with Path of Radiance. I recently replayed that when it came to Switch 2, and honestly, it holds up really well, except for the graphics and voice acting. Those are both abysmal, but like everything else is practically like it came out today. Have I ever played Spyro on the Switch? Yes, I did. I played the Reignited trilogy. I found it a bit too hard, unfortunately, so I ended up giving up. What would my nickname be based on a number 1 through 9? Oh, you mean like a Zero Escape nickname? Ooh, good question. Let's see. Um, I would probably be a 4 because I'd say my name has 4 syllables in it. So Paul would be 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the best I can come up with. Plus, it would also have 4 letters for epic, which I tend to like the word epic quite a lot. Not to dox yourself, but it lives on Earth. There's a lot of stuff that lives on Earth. You might have to be a bit more specific. What was I going to say? Sorry, guys, I'm easily distracted. Not as easily distracted as Ty the One Up guy, though. And that's not me gossiping on him. He literally says that in his videos all the time. I think it was his Mario Kart World video where he even makes a joke about that. In fact, I can even repeat the joke because I had it in a highlight reel for my YouTube channel. It was, he said it was stupid that Mario Kart 8 was worth $80. But then he said, the second I booted up the game, I completely forgot about it. And that's not me defending the price. That's me saying I'm easily distracted. You live in the Good job, Matthew. Well done. Pretty sure we all live in the Milky Way, though. I live more in the grassy way, though, because, like, my backyard, I wouldn't say it's huge by any chance, but it's way bigger than the backyard at my old house. And my nieces and nephews really love this place because we have like a swing set and a slide, and I think we even have like a kind of sandbox that they love playing in. What was I gonna say? So, getting back to what I was saying about the GameCube games. The reason why I borrowed my brother's Wii, I don't know how I got so distracted from this. If it's thanks to you guys, thank you. If it's on me, I'm an idiot. But I've never really, when I first started my YouTube channel, I didn't like reviewing the original versions of games if I played the remake. So, for example, my very first review was Majora's Mask 3D. And I thought to myself, now I don't need to review the original Majora's Mask. And I eventually relented on that rule and changed my mind, but it took until 2022. So this time around, I'm not making those same mistakes. So as soon as I get that Wii, I am going to, because my sister works with my brother, so he gave it to her while she's on her shift. So she's going to bring it to me when she's done working. But I'm going to finally review Master Quest, and I'm going to finally review the original version of Twilight Princess, even though I already reviewed Twilight Princess HD. I'm not an idiot. Thank you, Kevin. I really appreciate that. I meant it more as a joke. Well, half joking. Usually, when I say I'm an idiot, I don't mean it in the literal sense. More of just like, man, I could have done better. The original version is good. You have the N64 cartridge and a gold cartridge of Ocarina of Time. I'm pretty sure I also had the gold cartridge. I know at the very least I had the gold version of Majora's Mask, where like you tilted it at different angles and it almost looked like Link was in 3D. I remember we even had a version of Ocarina of Time that had the Fire Temple chanting. This is going to be a bit of a shameless plug, but I think you're allowed to do that on your own live stream. I made a video called My Catholic Perspectives on Ocarina of Time's Fire Temple. And so all of the footage that you saw in that video was captured on an actual Nintendo 64 um, on the cartridge that had the Fire Temple music. And that's why I left in all the sound effects, which I normally don't do, but I did it on purpose in that review so that you guys could tell that it wasn't just me playing an audio track, that it was the real deal. Master Quest is a bit buggy. Oh, that's a shame. Can you tell me what that bug is so that I don't have to worry about it? Back from eating? Welcome back, Jevel. We were just talking about how once my sister brings back the Wii that she's because my brother had to give it to my one brother and then he gave it to my sister. Now she's giving it to me because they work all in different places. I'm going to review Ocarina of Time, Master Quest, Twilight Princess. Why do I keep forgetting the third game? There's another game I wanted to review. Oh, Mario Kart Double Dash. That's what I was looking for. I've never reviewed Mario Kart Double Dash, mainly because I used to hate that game. But I'm willing to give it a second try. Maybe it's not as bad as I remember it. Oh, yeah, the gold cartridges have the original chants. Pretty sure I have one that's a silver cartridge that had the chants too. Because I remember I don't remember what happened to my original game. I think I might have sold it before I knew that they recalled the chanting. But I do have a copy that I'm borrowing either from a friend or it is the original. I just forgot about it. But let's just say that if I wanted to hear the Fire Temple again, I could. You were trying to defeat a Skulltula hanging from a wall in a house. You went to the top of the stairs and did a forward slash. And when his sword hit the wall, the game froze. Okay. I think I know what you're talking about. I think that's from Kakariko Village. Going forward, I would say, in general, to avoid that bug, probably just try the slingshot if you ever play it again. Because I honestly never even thought of doing a forward slash to kill a Skulltula, because they take a surprising amount of health from you when you get hit by them. And so I just always figured better be safe than sorry and just stick to the slingshot or the hook shot once certain parts happen of that game. I've never actually 100%ed Ocarina of Time. I would always stop whenever I got to 50 gold Skulltulas. You were just trying everything. No, I knew what you meant. Yeah, I knew it was a golden Skulltula. No, the regular Skulltulas only show up on climbable walls. But I did recently hear that they actually won't chase you if you stop climbing while they're looking at you. So I'll definitely have to try that out in Master Quest because I'm pretty sure the first dungeon forces you to climb past them. I said I used to hate Double Dash. Maybe I'll like it more nowadays just because I compared it too much to Mario Kart 64. So then when I played Mario Kart Wii, I said, "Oh, good, it's actually Mario Kart 64 but better." Nowadays, though, I went back to Mario Kart Wii and I said, this game is terrible. It's like the item balancing is just awful. And the rubber banding is, oh my gosh, like the amount of times I've been doing good and then the computer players will just rush past me is just insane. And I remember Mario Kart World had quite a. Mario Kart World was kind of like that at launch, but they've since patched it up quite nicely. Yeah, my favorite Mario Kart game is Mario Kart World, closely followed by Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and then followed by Mario Kart 8, and then Mario Kart 7, and then after that would be Mario Kart Wii, or no, Mario Kart DS, then Mario Kart Wii, then 64, and then Super Circuit and Super Mario Kart were just awful. Actually, I thought Mario Kart Tour was all right for what you're getting for the price you pay, which was nothing in my case. I was able to get Gold Mario without actually paying any money. And I don't know of too many people that can say that. I think my secret was I played it pretty much every day, except for when I went to visit Esabelle the first time. I think that was the only time I put the game down, but I played it every single day. And I earned the rubies by natural progression, and I didn't get every costume, but I got all the costumes that I wanted. Yeah, no, the microtransactions are terrible. I think Nintendo was pretty scummy when they played that game, and that's probably why their mobile market isn't doing too well. But for some reason, Mario Kart Tour is somehow still not taken down. Wait, Mario Kart Tour got shut down? I didn't hear about that. Am I misreading you, Jevil? Because surely Nintendo Life would have said that. Unless if that just happened and I just didn't read it. No, I'm not seeing anything here. I thought what actually happened with Mario Kart Tour was they got rid of the like they let you use rubies instead of like exclusively real money to do the pipe or something like that. Which, oh, that pipe. That pipe was annoying as heck. I wish they would make, which I guess technically they did with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. When Mario Kart Golf was the first Nintendo game to have DLC? Um, that is technically incorrect because the actual first Nintendo game to have DLC was The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. I know that sounds super random, but there was one time when in the original Wii version of Skyward Sword, there was a bug that crashed your game if you did a certain non-linear part of the game out of order. And so Nintendo released, because back then they didn't know how to do DLC, so they released this entire thing on the Wii called the Wii transfer, uh, the Wii data transfer tool or something like that. It was one of the last things that they ever released on the Wii Shop channel, and it basically let you continue playing the game if that bug happened. Thankfully, they fixed it in Skyward Sword. I could have sworn there was a Nintendo game after that or before that that got DLC. COD Wawa? What? Sorry, guys. I'm not much of an abbreviation guy. Is that Call of Duty World at War? Yeah, you might have noticed I don't abbreviate things a whole lot on my YouTube channel. I tend to, especially if I'm talking to girls, I tend to not call them by their nicknames because I figured that they might think that I'm flirting if I call them by a nickname. Because generally that's what people do when they flirt is they add like an e at the end of everything. Um, Although the people that called me Polly in school, I can tell that they weren't flirting with me. They were just trying to get on my nerves. But people haven't said that in eons. Nowadays, what I find funny is that people will assume that my name is either Pauline or Paula when I say it on the phone. Yeah, Paula. Sometimes people say that. I don't know. I just find it hilarious that I say, "Hey, this is Paul," and somehow they mishear it every single time. I don't think there's ever been someone that's gotten it right. You made Futaba? So did I. If you, oh wait, no, I think you were the one that did say that actually. You said you liked my Futaba me. Yours is probably better than mine. Cuz I was just going by a very small screenshot from Google Images. I'm normally good at reading fine print, but even I was having a hard time with that one. You made her clothes too? Oh wow. Even I didn't do that. I just tried to do a look-alike, but I did I think I mentioned this in the review. If I didn't, I'll tell you now. For Joker, the very same day that I filmed that scene where I called Joker a phantom thief, I went into the clothing store and I found an outfit that was literally called Phantom Thief attire. And I just thought it was so hilarious that Nintendo would make a Persona 5 reference in one of their first party games that wasn't Smash Brothers. Oh, thank you for liking my Futaba. Oh, and rewatching the review. Thank you for that, too. Most people don't do that, so thank you. Nintendo is participating in Gamescom. Okay, that's exciting. I think I heard that, but I forgot about it. So thank you for reminding me, Jevil. Summer Game Fest, I am looking forward to that too. Very, very nice. As far as a Nintendo Direct, okay, I'm going to have the most boring Nintendo Direct prediction or wish list ever. You guys are probably going to hate me for this. They have a Phantom Thief Black Mask too. Cool. Um, I just want release dates for the things that are already announced. Like I want a release date for Danganronpa 2x2. Sorry in advance if the kids are screaming, guys. This is really the best I can do. I want a release date for Danganronpa 2x2. What else did they announce that? Why am I blanking? Oh, Professor Layton in the New World of Steam, Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. Like all these games don't have a release date. Heck, Professor Layton in the New World of Steam was announced in 2023, and yet they still don't have a release date for it. Like, I get it. Their name is Level 5 Studios, but they could at least give us an update. Ooh, that's cool. That would be nice if Danganronpa was at the PlayStation Showcase. Keep me posted if it is. Like, you have my email, so just email me as soon as you find out. Um, that's assuming I don't see it on Nintendo Life's website, but I usually check my email before I check Nintendo Life. So that would be really cool if I woke up to see you saying Danganronpa 2x2 has a release date. Watch Summer Game Fest because we might have Danganronpa 2x2 news. I'm not going to watch the Game Fest live just because they're not exclusively Nintendo. So I might just be bored out of my mind if they have like maybe one Switch game amidst a bunch of like multi-plats or stuff that is on everything except the Switch. That's why I've decided I'm not going to watch the Game Awards live anymore. I did it last year because one of my favorite streamers, who goes by Random Bystander here, he streamed a watch party of it. And if it weren't for him being there, it would have been a total snooze fest. Like there was hardly anything that was like, oh, I'm so excited about this because I'm a Nintendo fan. Persona 4 Revival. You know, I never finished Persona 4 Golden on the Switch, but I'm willing to give Persona 4 Revival another chance after what you guys said. Because originally I was thrown off by the fact that apparently one of the bosses is a striptease. But if they're able to, like, make it not adulterous enough, maybe I could look past it. Hopefully. Or I could just avert my eyes. The Game Awards are fun, but at the same time, like, the fun moments are few and far between. Like, basically anything the Muppets did were hilarious. Like the fact that they made a whole song roasting the Game Awards, I thought that was great. Um, Apparently Mrs. Piggy and Jeff Keighley were like a thing. I thought there's no nudity at oh, okay. What you would see at a beach. Okay. I mean, anything can be considered sexual if you really put your mind to it, but I've heard a saying. This is just Danganronpa being stupid. But let me read Jevil's comment first. You watch the live stream because you're a massive gamer. Well, hey, you know what? If you end up liking it, then good for you. I definitely don't want to discourage anyone from liking the Game Awards. I'm just glad that there are a lot of summaries out there. So there's a quote in Danganronpa V3 that got me thinking, and it was that Tenko, of all people, said, "Did you hear that guys get more turned on by a girl in a swimsuit than a girl who's nude?" And it got me thinking, like, you know, that's probably why there's more Renaissance art that's nude than there is of people in swimsuits. So that is definitely something I will have to think about. Men yelling is scary. Women yelling is annoying. I've gotten scared of a woman yelling at me before. Um, no one that's on this channel, thankfully. Or I should say, no one that's actively viewing this channel. It is an iffy dungeon, but there's more to it than just that. Wouldn't play it in front. Okay. Good to know. Thank you for the warning. Swimsuits didn't exist. Oh, okay. That explains it. But still, there's a. You'd think modern art, if that saying in Danganronpa V3 wasn't true, that there would be more modern art depicting women in, like, even if it was just like what they call grandma swimsuits, where it was like the super modest one pieces that like even the men would wear. You'd think there'd be more of that, but no. There's actually way more nude art than swimsuit art. And it makes me wonder if like the imagination process of like what's underneath the swimsuit is in and of itself like a form of lust for some men that they wouldn't get from seeing like total nudity, because I don't know, maybe they'd like see the razor burns or something like that, and that would like take them out of it. I don't know. I'm not like most guys, I've been told, but I do think that anything can be considered immodest if it's used in the wrong context. No, that's right. No, not everything that's nudity is porn. In fact, the Sistine Chapel has quite a lot of nudity. But originally they wanted to cover that up because they thought that was inappropriate in a Catholic church. But then one of the popes, I think it was JP2, came in and he said, "Remove those stupid loincloths." He didn't say stupid. He said, "Remove those loincloths because you shouldn't cover up something that God deemed sacred." That is a saying to leave something to the imagination. Sometimes I find that when people leave stuff to the imagination, even if it's something that's not sinful, kind of ruins the surprise factor of a reveal. Like, I always hate speculation about Nintendo Directs because just in case the people are right, I'm always like, oh man, I wanted to be surprised by that. I didn't want people to guess it. I mean, obviously, I can like talk about what I want in a direct, but I certainly don't like it when people predict it. You too, since they are always wrong. True. The most sexual character is Mai from Fatal Fury. Yeah, I can see why. I've seen some clips of her. Um, Personally, I don't find her sexually appealing just because she's so over the top by like women's body standards. But I can see how, yeah, I can see how most people would find her a bit weird. But here's the thing: I personally, from what I've heard, Bayonetta is actually considerably more sexual in her games, and yet Sakurai allowed her in. So that's why I think there's a little bit of hypocrisy when it comes to Smash Brothers, because Super Smash Brothers for 3DS and Wii U was rated E10, and yet Bayonetta somehow got in, and I just don't really see how that's possible because like her whole design was meant to be sexual. Well, that's the point, David, is yes, she had more clothing than Pyra and Mithra, but think about Pyra and Mithra in the actual game. Most of the sexualization of those guys was from the camera angles, not from what they actually did. Like Pyra as a character, if you were to hypothetically, like, say, dress her up in a cloak and still put her in all the same scenes, you wouldn't think that she was like a sexualizing person. Like it didn't seem like she was trying to hit on people. Whereas Bayonetta, like she would flat out be like using her sexuality as a means of getting her enemies off guard. And that's why in a lot of my videos I would try to like not have Bayonetta in them as much as possible, or at the very least put in a warning. Yes, Pyra did have a cloak on, and she did look really nice in that cloak. But yes, like sure, they'd have a camera angle where they'd be looking at Pyra the wrong way, or she'd say like put your hand here, but like as a character, she was a very non-sexual person. And I think the only reason people think that she is because of her design. Mithra, not too sure about her because I gave up in Gourmet Plains, or at the very least the part where it said cook Pyra's favorite food. But I would say like a good example of a game that makes appealing character designs but not sexual is Xenoblade Chronicles 3, which in my opinion, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is one of those once in a lifetime types of games because it has such a pro-Catholic message once you get to the city. But yet at the same time, it also emphasizes like it's almost like it was a response to Xenoblade Chronicles 2, where people said that game is too sexual. They literally, like within like the first hour of the game, um, they had a mixed bath scene that didn't have any undertones of sexuality to it. And it's like you never would have seen that in Xenoblade 2. And as someone who, as far as I can tell, I don't think mixed baths are technically sinful, unless if you're just a real luster. Like I really approve of that scene quite a lot. And then the maternity ward. I know that's technically a spoiler, but for the sake of Catholicism, I'm willing to say it. Uh, who do I like more, Pyra or Mithra? I like Pyra because she has more of a gentle personality, and I think that I think that Mithra made a bad impression when I saw. Again, I didn't get that far in the actual game, but I saw clips of it, and Mithra seemed like a real hothead. And I'm generally not a big fan of women that have tempers. I'm generally not a big fan of anyone that has a temper. Like, I'm a very mild mannered person most of the time, and I prefer everyone else to be the same. Yeah, no, I think from what I saw of the DLC, Mithra did seem like a pretty cool character. You think your gender swap name would be Belle? Wait, Belle is the female version of Matthew? I never knew that. That's cool. Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, I really like the name Belle too. There was a character in my novel named Belle, and she was the origin of all femininity in that universe. Yeah, my books had a very interesting origin story, but just basically like the reason why females existed in my book universe was because the wizards existed in a time before time, and Belle was like the only traditionally feminine wizard at the time, because like the wizards were technically genderless, so they were able to like modify their features at will, and so a lot of them just went absolutely crazy with like stuff like facial hair and proportions. And Belle was like the one wizard that just had long blonde hair and a smooth shaven face. And so because she was so unique, that like when she started creating humans, they took those genes of like her preferring that more feminine look. And so then when human women started appearing on the earth, they decided that, oh, well, this is what Belle looks like, so we're going to make that a thing. So that's when in my novel universe, that's why women would always shave the little bit of facial hair they did have, and they'd shave their legs because that's what Belle did just because she felt like it. The gender swap version of Belle is Beau. Oh, okay. I never knew that. That's cool. Have I seen Marie Rose in Dead or Alive? Um, I have never played Dead or Alive, so I have no clue who that is. Did I get to meet the character Kanji in Persona 4? I don't think I personally got that far in it, but I remember, I know who he is. And I know that in some versions of the game, Matt Mercer played him. So at the very least, if Persona 4 Revival comes to a Nintendo system, I'm going to be looking forward to seeing more of Matt Mercer. But yeah, I know of him. I just don't remember anything else off the top of my head besides that he had a besides that at the beach he had a bit of an accident. That's all I remember about him. But I remember when the little bit that I played of Persona 4 Golden. Um I can't really think of any character that I liked from the little bit of time that I played. I thought Teddy was like a prototype Morgana, which to be fair, Morgana wasn't my favorite character in Persona 5, but at the very least, Morgana had a type of charisma that Teddy like was trying too hard to have. Ooh, I will let you know. Um, of course, my rule of thumb is that I only review a game that I can beat. So if it ends up being too hard, I'll probably put it down. But if it has stuff like accessibility options, then I'll probably just crank those up. Because I remember when I played Persona 3 Reload, I think I only got a game over once. And then the game just let me replay that section, which I don't think Persona 5 Royal had. Definitely not in Tokyo Mirage Sessions, because I tried replaying that game, and they made me go to like all the way before like one of the dungeons that I just completed. So I said like, nope, I'm not gonna touch this game for a long time. I'm glad you liked it when I met Mikan's actress, Jevil. Yeah, no, she was pretty neat. Definitely a bit of an up and down type of personality. Where like when she was just normally talking, a bit soft spoken, but then when she was excited, she got really excited. And I only paid $10 for that picture, which by Comic Con standards, that's an absolute steal. Uh, let's just say if you've never played Danganronpa 2, Mikan is the type of character that is the butt of every joke in all the wrong ways. I think technically that would constitute not a spoiler because my rule for this chat is anything leading up to the first murder is fair game. And there's a certain scene where Mikan is in a compromising position, and that's like basically her entire character is she's just this very very sexualized character. I don't think that's the entire reason why Jeva likes her, but there are certain parts of her that I think are just there to be fan service. But the actual character of Mikan is, um, yeah, I'm not a big fan of her. And so Jevil and I have this running joke that like he always ships me with Mikan, even though she's like my least favorite character. No, I stand corrected. I think I would say Taro is probably my least favorite because of her clumsiness. Okay. You know, I like klutzes too, but Mikan just takes it to a whole new level. And she always claims that everything is an accident, but personally, I don't think so. I think secretly she's an attention hog and just doesn't know how to hide it. Oh yeah. From what I heard, he was a good cook. I've never been a big fan of the pervert characters in Danganronpa. I mean, I'm not a fan of perverts in general, but I would say that the fact that you have a whole bunch of high schoolers on a tropical island is, if it weren't for the fact that it was a murder mystery, I think I'd be pretty uncomfortable playing it. But the fact that it is a murder mystery makes me excited to solve the whodunit. And that's why I ultimately think Danganronpa 2 is my favorite in the series. But my favorite ending in the series was Danganronpa V3. Like, I am a sucker for what they did at the end there. I know that's an unpopular opinion, but I do not care. It was as though Danganronpa V3 was made for me. You relate a lot to Mikan? Hopefully not in the promiscuous sense. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with her in Danganronpa 2x2 because I am perfectly willing to accept that maybe she'll be a better character. in the new scenario. And if she is, then I'll just say, well, okay, whoever was in charge of writing in the remake, because I know Kodaka is somewhat hands off on this. I think he's a supervisor for the murder methods. You don't think she's promiscuous on purpose? Maybe for that first scene before the first murder, but I don't know. In chapter 3, there's some stuff that she does that it's just like, how is that an accident? That just seems way too purposeful. And I guess promiscuous is the wrong word, just a lot of imagery that she puts into your head that you can't unsee. Nekomaru is your second favorite. I don't really know what a sensei is, but Nekomaru, not a big fan of him either, mainly just because he's really loud. I like what they do with him, but as far as like just as a character, he's definitely on the lower end of people that I'd like to hang out with. I think it's pretty obvious that my favorite character is Chiaki, and I'm pretty sure I don't need to tell you guys why. I really like when Kazuichi isn't being perverted. I like him. Um, I think when he's just talking about like regular stuff, he's a cool guy. When he's perverted, he's annoying as heck. Yeah, I do like Peko as well. She's my second favorite. I actually relate to Peko quite a lot. Um, and again, that's stuff that happens later in the game with her. But if you know what I'm talking about, uh, it's relatable kind of tragically how much I'm like Peko. I think I'm a bit more friendly than she is, but I can definitely relate to other parts of her personality. Yeah, nice to know you know what I mean. Fuyuhiko grew on me. I didn't like him at first, but again, if you know that there's some good growth in him that I appreciate. Hiyoko has potential. I definitely hope that in the new scenario they flesh out what they clearly wanted to do. They said in an interview that they wanted to do that, and then at the last minute they ditched it. You hate Peko's voice in the game compared to the anime? Um, I don't actually remember what she sounds like in the anime, but I do really respect Janice Kawaii quite a lot. Like she also played Nemesia in Radiant Historia Perfect Chronology, and I liked her there. So when I played Danganronpa, I was like, oh, cool, I get to see Nemesia again. Will I be doing a spoiler stream for 2x2? Yeah, sure. Except it'll be after I beat it. That way, I'll know what I'm talking about, and you guys won't ruin it for me personally. You need to hear Monokuma's voice was the way that I would describe it, and this is assuming you guys are all talking about the English dub because I didn't watch it in Japanese, but I think the actor did a good enough job of conveying Monokuma's interesting personality, but I definitely prefer Brian Beacock. I think the fact that he put on the falsetto voice just it suits Monokuma's character way more. As far as voices in the anime that I did like, I like that they got Bryce Papenbrook to do it. I thought that was a neat touch that he was in both the anime and the game. Kyoko's was pretty good in both. I don't think I really have a clear favorite because Erica Harlocker is the actress that I want to meet the most. So obviously, I deeply respect her. But Caitlin Glass, I think she did a pretty darn good, like, oh, okay, I can see Kyoko sounding like that. Byakuya, I remember he was pretty good in the anime, even if, again, I think I personally prefer the games. I don't think there was anyone from the anime that I thought was better than the games. But at the same time, I don't think I disliked any of the Funimation voices either. It was kind of a bit of a give and take. In a butter place, yeah. If you know, you know. What was I going to say about Danganronpa? I do like the fact that in Danganronpa 3, they got a lot of the original voice cast from Goodbye Despair to reprise their roles. I thought that was neat as well. Uh, I think it was nice that there was Chiaki had way more. There was a lot of stuff that they did with Chiaki in Danganronpa 3 that I wish the games had explored more. You really hate discourse around Ultra Despair Girls? Depends on what you mean by discourse. Because I have never played Ultra Despair Girls, but I did watch a summary of it, and it made me deeply uncomfortable. I mean, I've heard that, like, even if it weren't for all that stuff, it's just a very poorly controlled game. About the pink hair girl, I think I know what you're talking about. Um, let's just say there's a certain part of the game where the gameplay genre completely shifts. And at that point, I was really turned off. And I told myself that I would never play that game if it came to Switch or Switch 2. Like, I respect what they were trying to do, but also, like, it was clearly, like, it was very low budget, and it was. You could tell that it was like they wanted to put in as much naughty stuff as possible, which, to be fair, Zero Escape does the same thing. But I would say, like, if you had to put Zero Escape and Danganronpa together, Danganronpa is by far the way, way more intense series. Like, I remember when they were making Virtue's Last Reward. This isn't a spoiler. I'm going to keep it vague. They were really held back in all that they could do in that game. Like, don't get me wrong, it's still M rated, and they make plenty of those kinds of jokes, but um, Zero Time Dilemma was the game where they were finally told, put in whatever you want because it's the finale. So I would say, like, of all three Zero Escape games, Virtue's Last Reward is by far the tamest. But it does make me feel a bit sad that the creator was like, aw, man, we can't have as much inappropriate stuff. Because all the returning cast in Danganronpa V3, yeah, no, I thought that was brilliant. The fact that every single actor in Danganronpa V3 was someone from another Danganronpa game. And you might be wondering, well, who voiced Maki then? Maki played someone in Ultra Despair Girls. So literally every single character was voiced by a Danganronpa veteran. You still can't believe how much Danganronpa is talked about? Yeah, no, I had heard of Danganronpa, but I didn't know anything of it until I saw Pegasus stream it. Of course, I came in at the wrong time. I came in at chapter 4 um, of Goodbye Despair. No, of all the places to come in for your first experience with Danganronpa, but it did get me hooked. And that's why I ended up loving the series. You played it on the Vita. Okay, very interesting. Yeah, from what I saw, it was pretty cool that, like, if you're like me where you're awful at shooters, it's nice that you had the option to just play hack and slash mode. But at the same time, there were just, like, the story just made me deeply uncomfortable. And that's coming from someone who loves Zero Escape. I think they just went a little bit overboard, in my opinion. But again, most of the people that I heard talk about it said that even if it weren't for all the inappropriate stuff, they thought that the controls and the overall gameplay was too clunky for them. So at the very least, I can be justified if I don't feel like saying, well, I'm a Catholic, so therefore I can at the very least say, well, I'm bad at shooters, and all the reviews say that the controls were bad. Danganronpa got really popular on TikTok during the pandemic. Interesting. You know, if I'm being honest, the pandemic really didn't affect my channel all that much, thankfully. Um, the only thing that was really a big deal during pandemic times was the whole, like, Kappa thing, but I'm pretty sure that ended during 2020. So a lot of my videos had these really awkward shoe-ins where, like, I would put in this giant message that said this video isn't for kids, because we were all afraid that we'd have to pay like $25,000 if our videos were for kids. But then we later found out by a Roblox YouTuber, of all people, that he reached out to COPPA and he found out that they were only targeting people who were targeting children exclusively. But if you were having general audience content, then you'd be fine. Although my analytics say that I don't really attract minors like at all. And if I do, it's like one or two. So I'm definitely very grateful that my audience is like 99% adults. Yeah. YouTube is weird with its webcam. I even put in a thumbnail and that didn't help. Oh yeah, no, New Horizons would probably have not done as well if it weren't for the pandemic. I remember back in the old days of Animal Crossing, that series was very, very niche, and like New Leaf definitely helped it get a lot more popular. Because you would think City Folk would be the breaking point where people would be like, "Hey, it's on the Wii," and everyone buys stuff on the Wii. But Radiant Dawn didn't do too well on the Wii either, and I think it was because City Folk was just too much like Wild World. Yeah, people would make these weird Spider-Man and Elsa videos for kids that would rake in a lot of views. I don't remember seeing those, but then again, I generally don't do what the popular thing is, as you all know by now. AC is popular, but it would not have gotten billion. Yeah, like obviously it was a big deal when it came out on the GameCube, but pretty much the only people that knew about it were people that read Nintendo Power. And same thing with Wild World. Like again, the people that liked it really liked it, but it wouldn't have been considered like a tentpole Nintendo franchise like Mario or Zelda. City Folk, again, people complained that it was too much like Wild World. New Leaf was around the time that Nintendo started having like a YouTube channel, so that's when they could like market it better. And then New Horizons, just the pandemic happened. Did New Horizons beat Mario Kart 8 Deluxe in sale? I don't know. I'm not usually one that pays too much attention to sales, unless if they're really bad. That's typically when I pay attention to them. You like the GameCube version. You have the Animal Crossing memory card too. Very nice. Yeah, I like New Leaf. I liked it more when the Welcome Amiibo update came out. I remember I got a physical version that had Welcome Amiibo pre-installed, which I thought was pretty cool. But my sister actually played the original version for quite a long time before Welcome Amiibo came out. Yeah, I remember I really loved Animal Crossing on the GameCube. I think I played it for like an entire year straight back when back when we really didn't have anything else. And the only thing that I really didn't like was that it got very repetitive and there wasn't too much of a sense of progression besides like your house would get bigger. But the house is like such a small part of the game. I mean, don't get me wrong, at the time I really liked the idea of designing my own house. But as the years have gone on, I've started to realize that I'm probably the worst person to play DIY games, especially during the summer catching fish and bugs. Yeah, the millionth time you caught a sea bass was something else. So I really like New Horizons. Is they made it a lot easier to catch a variety of fish. You're going to go, Paul? Hey, thanks for dropping by, Jevel. Yeah, no, I'll definitely keep you guys posted. Um, At the very least, if you don't see my community post, I will make a video about it. So, with regards to the Zero Escape streams, I'll just wait until David finishes it, and then I'll make an announcement video. Danganronpa 2x2, I will wait until I beat it. But if I don't beat it within a month after it comes out, then as a compromise, you can talk about as far as I've gotten into it. But for a like full on like ending and everything stream, at least wait until I'm done. 2 more weeks for the entire Zero Escape trilogy? Well, I guess with my guide, that would speed things along quite a bit. Dang. Well, to be fair, I beat Zero Time Dilemma in only 2 days, and that was right when it came out too. So there weren't like any major walkthroughs at that time. So I guess it's technically possible. if you're like really good at escape rooms. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what you think about the whole series. Zero Escape was really like, um, to be fair, I was a fan of visual novels well before I played Zero Escape. Like I loved Ace Attorney, especially loved Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright. When that game first came out, that was actually my favorite video game. I know that's a really hot take, but yeah, 2014, Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright came out, and I said, this is my number one game. You play every evening before bed, so hopefully, okay, very nice. Oh, 100 Line took me 3 months to get the true ending, and it was an absolute slog. I liked 100 Line quite a lot, but the reason why it didn't, I think you heard why it didn't make it onto my best games list. Mainly the Cult of Takumi route. Which pope from history is my favorite, and what about my least favorite pope? And did I play Monster Hunter? Thank you for all the questions, Gwendon. I really appreciate it. Welcome in. By any chance, were you part of the Catholic Creator Conference crowd? And if not, welcome in regardless. Everyone is equal here. Whether they came from Comic Con, Catholic Creators Conference, or in general, everyone here is cool. So, what are some kind of stuff you like to do? So, to answer your question, my favorite pope is Pope John Paul II, mainly because he did Theology of the Body, which I really, really loved. I was quite the prude before I read that. So, it was nice to hear that, like sexuality was considered not only very good, but like a sign of why we were made in the image and likeness of God. I don't have a least favorite pope, mainly just because I regret that I haven't studied popes as much as I would like. But I would say, in general, just any pope that was corrupt, I would say just that's a real shame that he abused the office. I played Monster Hunter Rise for a little bit, and I found it a bit too complicated. But I definitely respect those games a lot because they had really good music and they seemed like they had pretty good graphics too. The Box is a Blessing. Oh, I don't remember too many endings specifically, but I liked the Boxes of Blessings routes. Um, I thought it was a really cool concept, and the way that it ended was priceless. Thank you for, oh, you're welcome. You've been following for a long time. Nice. Thank you so much. Yeah, welcome in. Um, have there been any particular videos that stood out to you? Maybe I can give you some behind the scenes. I definitely am not trying to fish for compliments. I want to know like what you guys like so that I can like I've decided going forward that I really want to tailor my videos to two types of people, and that's my in real life friends, especially Danielle and Matt, because of the rounds of applause they give me for my end of year videos, and my live streamers. So like um, most of my regulars are like David and or Lodo, as you guys see, and Kevin and Jevel. Like those guys are the ones I'm really gonna be, I'm really gonna be focusing on. You'd need to look a bit to come up with a good question. You watch all of my videos? Oh my gosh, I can't think of a single. Well, if there's someone else like you, that person certainly hasn't mentioned it. So, thank you for being the first person that actually mentioned it. Let's see. Are there any YouTube channels that I could say that for? Ty the One Up guy, except for his PlayStation videos, but like anything he does that's Nintendo, I've watched. I tried watching all of his back catalog, but my computer was bugging out. But ever since I subscribed to him, which was when the Wii U video came out, which he still really likes that video, I've watched everything except I think Astrobot was the only one I didn't. Well, let me see if I can narrow down a bit of a better question. Besides, which video would you say was your absolute favorite on my channel? And if you say it's one of my best games videos, that'll make my day. But if not, I'll just try to make my end of year videos more like the one that you like. How about that? Speaking of which, I actually filmed the introduction to my best games video for this year. I've actually been in the works for this skit since I think it was like July of 2025 when I had the concept. And I've just been perfecting it on the side while I was making the best games of 2025 this whole time. So, like, some of the stuff that you'll see in that was like over a year in the works. Probably be one of the best. Oh, thank you. Those are my favorite as well. Like, the one in 2024 took an entire year to make, mainly because like coordinating with Esabelle, especially when she was on the stage, like it almost didn't happen, honestly. So we were originally going to do a green screen, but then the library where Esabelle would usually go got shut down, or at the very least, like the place where she was using the green screen had technical difficulty. So she just said, "Hey, I know of a really good place at Oklahoma University that has a real stage." And honestly, I'm really glad that she did that, because that is just such a cool selling point that I wish more people would mention. But yeah, everything that you saw in there was not done with a green screen, just either really good editing on her part or standing on a real stage. Astrobot would have sold more on the Switch. Hey, you never know. Banjo and Kazooie got bought out by Microsoft. So what's to say that Astrobot might get bought out by Nintendo? Oh, thank you, Gwen. That means a lot to me. Do you have a nickname that you want me to call you, or just Gwendon? Mad props. Oh, that means so much to me, because my audience has a tendency to be very shy about my videos. So like I might um I might spend so much time making something, but then like I won't hear about what people liked about it. So then I'll just have to guess, like, okay, um what the heck do I even need to do to improve? Um And that is, I don't want to spoil too much, but that is a big part of next year's video, is just like, it's going to be my YouTube's audience preferences, the video, where it's just like, okay, looking over all these years of feedback and like everything that Matt and Danielle have said, like, do this more of. And like, it, there's even a whole skit where like I acknowledge that it's feedback, but it's a clever skit. It's not just, "Hey guys, by the way, I'm taking into account your feedback." Like, it's really gonna have a fun twist to it. Yeah, no, I would love. I'm a bit nervous about constructive criticism when it comes to those videos, just because, again, they took me an entire year to make. So it's just like, oh my gosh, if I did something wrong, that is going to make me feel like I really pushed myself. So I think what I'm going to do going forward is, if I ask for feedback, I'll just ask you guys, what did you like? And if there was something you didn't like, just don't mention it. Just mention what you did like, and I'll do more of it. Because let's be fair, at the end of the day, I am my own worst critic. So a lot of videos that did really well are like some of my least favorite videos on my channel. In fact, the video that has done the best on my channel is one that I am very disappointed in. So it goes to show you that audiences have completely different takes than what you do. But then again, I've also had some videos that I was really proud of that got in the double digits of views. So goes to show you, you could have the best of everything and people still won't like it. Your old teacher used to say it was a compliment sandwich. Say one good thing, then one thing you think could improve, and then end it with another thing you like. Ooh, that is going to really hurt if you do a compliment sandwich on those end of year videos. But I do think I can think of a few criticisms off the top of my head. Yeah, well, I know that that's a sore subject, but I really appreciate the people that have outright said, "Hey, I watch other stuff." Because when that video was actually live, that is very much not what people were saying. That was all they wanted to talk about. But now that it's gone, people have finally started saying, "You're more than that video, and I've watched your other stuff." That's the thing. I'm not a mind reader, guys. I am. I have no idea what you guys like or dislike. Even if you click the like button, that doesn't tell me anything. So, yes, people like you, David, are the people that I really appreciate. Well, it wasn't the criticisms that, oh, you mean in general? Um, yeah, no, I just when it comes to end of year videos, that's when I'm more touchy. If it's like a gaming review, but keep in mind, sometimes I might disregard the criticism if I feel like it's not true to myself. Like, I know some people have criticized these live streams for not having gameplay, and it's just like, yeah, that's just not me. Like, at the end of the day, I'm Paul before I'm anyone else. There have been times where one person said I needed to do the whole please like and subscribe um, thing, and I just said, no, 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 I hate that. There's a verse in the Bible that says, do to others as you would have them do to you. And since I hate it when people say the whole please like and subscribe, you'll never catch me saying that. If anything, you'll catch me asking for comments, but even then I've kind of eased up on that a bit because I feel like if I ask for comments, people won't do it because I've done that in the past. And the videos where I say I would love a comment are typically the ones that get the least comments. Yeah, no, people were just very one-dimensional on that video. Like, there were a few outliers, don't get me wrong, but the outliers made up maybe like 10% of the comments, and it was just an absolute nightmare. It's still technically on my channel, it's just privated, so that means no one can watch it unless if I give them permission. I might end up putting it somewhere else, but only if I can have a guarantee that no one will meme it, which you can't really say that on the internet anymore. Maybe like 20 years from now, memes will become like the uncool thing to do, and maybe then I'll bring it back in some form, but I highly doubt it. Oh, thank you for liking my attitude. That does mean quite a lot to me. But with regards to criticisms that I've noticed about my end of year videos that I'm definitely going to address, um, I know the length can be a bit long, but at the same time, I also got feedback from my friends Danielle and Matt that said, I would rather you have a long video that's good than rush out a bad video. Because they have said, because as years have gone by, the end of year videos have gotten longer. But they would still give me a rousing round of applause, and they'd say, like, hey, even though it was long, we enjoyed every single second of it. And they said, like, oh, hey, we really like all the little skits that you do in there. But at the same time, I am trying my best. You like the length? Oh, that means a lot to me. That means so much. Thank you. Although one of the if for the people that don't like the length, I am gonna just suck it up and make timestamps this year, just because. And again, I don't want to say too much, but I have something very special that I have planned for both end of year videos for like the very end of them. And I'm flat out just going to say in the intro, like, stay tuned to the end because you're really going to like what I have planned. So that way, if it ends up being too long, they can just skip past what they don't like. Because now that I don't have Esabelle, I don't think I'll be able to be as professional this time around, but I'm leaning into it. I'm embracing the idea of Esabelle may be gone, but I'm still going to try my best to make a good video with my skill set. And Esabelle and I are still friends. She's just not working on my channel anymore. Oh, good. Glad to hear that, Gwen. That means a lot. But yeah, like, if the videos end up being long, I have an explanation for it this time around. And I've definitely take yeah, she did leave her YouTube channel. I think it's still up. She's just not posting on it anymore. I think she said she might return, but I doubt it at this point. Maybe fight back on it a bit. I have actually fought back on it. If I do believe that someone is if I believe that someone is giving me criticism that I don't agree with, I will absolutely like start a discussion. Like, there was one guy that came on to my channel and he was talking about why he thought I should have kept that video. And I was just like, yeah, no, I can't agree with that logic. Then there was also a time that I made a post saying, like, hey, I'm thinking of deleting the video early. And there was someone who was like vehemently just going at me, just like, do not take down that video. You are killing a part of old YouTube culture. And I just kept saying, sorry, but your argument's just not, it doesn't match my morals, it doesn't match my values. You don't know what I'm feeling. I think it was healthy. I don't know. I mean, that person certainly seemed worked up, but well, I guess I was worked up too, but it didn't come across like I was. But no, there have definitely been times in the past where I've been willing to say, like, yeah, thanks for the suggestion, but that's just not me. But for example, there was one comment that I really took to heart where someone was looking at my Life is Strange True Colors review. And that was a real turning point for me because the person said, why is the video only in 420p? And I said, wait, what? It was in 420p? And I didn't know that whole time. Like, I thought that was just my computer being stupid. So I went into my editor's settings and I was like, did I really upload it that quality? And then so it turned out I didn't look enough. So then I said, well, okay, it looks like my editing software has an option to make it 1080p. So ever since whatever review I did after Life is Strange True Colors, my videos have been able to be at HD. Then there was another person that said he didn't like the quality of my videos where I just talked to the camera and um, all that stuff. So then I got a capture card after that. Granted, I think he might have been a bit rude about it, but at the same time, like, I remember it was Kirby Star Allies that was the turning point. And again, this particular video still doesn't exist anymore because every time I do a re-review, I delete the original. But it was around that time that someone was just like being absolutely vicious, saying like, "Oh, this is a terrible video, and your audio and visual quality is just awful." That I just said, "That's it. We're doing capture card footage from now on." And I'm pretty sure I have since then, or at least I tried. Because the Nintendo Creators Program kind of made that difficult. But I think it was around like 2019 that I just exclusively did video footage. Yeah, some people can just tell them to kick rocks. You actually can in Super Mario Odyssey, and that can give you some coins. Some people can be jerks, especially on the internet. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate the reassurance. Yeah, I've tried my best to improve my channel while still making it feel like it's just me. Like, if you were, I don't suggest it, but if you were to hypothetically look at like my earliest reviews, you would probably be like, okay, he's just talking in front of a camera and his hair looks a bit unkempt, but yet the words I actually say are more or less exactly the same as what I did it. Hey, bro, learned about you from the screen. Yeah, that one. You think, oh, thank you. I appreciate it. You're praying a rosary in a bit. Okay. Um, yeah, if you could pray for my family. We are, I'm not allowed to say the details, unfortunately, but if you could just say, Lord, I hope that you can put an end to the suffering that Paul and his family have been enduring since Good Friday of 2024. You can be super specific in that regard because God's going to know what you're talking about. But apart from that, I would say my life is a 98 out of 100. I'm guessing you're not from Catholic Creators Conference, but hey, you talk like someone from there. So I really appreciate it. I'm glad that you think my way of approaching things is perfect. Because I have definitely pray for you as you try to form one in marriage. Very nice. Wait, what? You're getting engaged getting engaged? Sorry, I don't want to interrupt your rosary. But I hope that, yes, I will pray. Is there a certain name you want me to call you or just like stick to Grayley? gosh. Gwen, you're really buttering me up this whole time. It's great. I love it. Thank you so much. I've definitely self-sabotaged my channel on purpose a few times. Like again, the whole like not saying like and subscribe, being sometimes inconsistent on purpose just because I am the type of person where if I'm excited about a game, I'll just post it, even if it's not my weekly schedule. And I know that that's terrible, but I do it anyway because it's all about being holistic and loving God are like the two big things I try to do. You're going to be married and become a family. Oh, okay, thanks for clarifying. Connor. Okay, I had a classmate named Connor when I was in school, so that'll be easy to remember. Yeah, best of wishes for you guys. Hope you're able to live out the sacrament to the best of your abilities, or the best of the grace that God has given you would probably be more accurate. I have a friend of mine. Yes, God bless you as well. I have a friend of mine who just got married today, assuming that it wasn't a late wedding. So the wedding is sometime today. I just don't know what time it is, just because I don't really like going to weddings, and that's a very long and very complicated discussion. But let's just say that they make me deeply uncomfortable. And I've just decided I will support my friends in other ways. Like, I'm not against marriages, I just don't like weddings, if that makes any sense. And I'll just go ahead and tell you who's getting married so that people can leave me alone in the comments. It's Esabelle. Obviously, it's not to me, because if it were me, I wouldn't be having this live stream. That would just be stupid. Plus, knowing me, like, if I were to hypothetically get married, I'd be too tired from the ceremony to want to live stream the same day. So yes, Esabelle's getting married to someone that isn't me, and she's going to be taking a month hiatus from our usual hangouts. But you'll be glad to hear this. Esabelle and I had a really long talk the last time she went to visit me, which was this past, well, you can just watch the video called Meeting Esabelle for a Fourth Time. And I just said, hey, you know what? I'm not really good at predicting the future and looking at patterns. So I just really want to know where things stand now that you're getting married. And to make a long conversation short without getting too personal, basically she said that her fiance, probably now husband at this point, is a very social guy. And he wants her to be social too. And he also knows that she likes traveling. It's like one of her biggest goals in life is just she wants to travel and see the world and do a bunch of new things. And she said, "Oh, don't you worry, Paul. This is not going to be the end of our hangouts." So we're definitely still going to be really good friends, and we're still going to be talking. Her sister is married as well, and she and I try to talk every month too. So I definitely really appreciate all of the people that have stuck around even after marriage as friends, because in the Greek, there's actually 6 different definitions of love. And one of them, I believe, is called Platos, I think, which is where we get the YouTube word for platonic. And I think if more people were willing to be to like study Greek, then I think more people would be willing to have friends. And I met someone at Catholic Creator Conference. I won't say who, just in case she doesn't want to. Well, I think she'd want her Instagram shared at the very least. I just won't say her real name. Her name is Simplicity in Faith on Instagram. And she was telling me that she's hoping to make a video all about the importance of friendship, which, boy, do I think we need more of. Because, again, don't get me wrong, romance is great, but I think not enough people really value the idea of a platonic connection. Like, I know some friends of mine who genuinely they treat me with so much kindness and so much reverence, um, you would never know that. How do I word this? Like my friend Danielle, for example, she's been married for I think about 10 years now. And she talks to me like nothing has changed. Because we knew each other before she got married and even before she dated her now husband. And I genuinely just think like she is like the gold standard for what I think a married woman should be when she has guy friends. Just like talk to them the same way. Just make sure that it's clear between the two of you that there's no flirting and there's no adultery. And honestly, I think that most people don't realize how do I word this? I had it so well organized in my head the other day. I had made a video of it at the Catholic Creator Conference, but it didn't get into the final video because I thought people would take it the wrong way. So let me see if I can reword it in a way that might make more sense to you guys. By the way, am I still live? Because, like, things just stopped after Connor disappeared. Or assuming Connor's still here. I was saying that the reason why I think a lot of people are scared of having. Oh, thank you, Gwen. Glad to hear it. I think the reason why. Okay, good, good. Sorry, YouTube doesn't have any options to display that people are listening. Um it it just says it just says how many people are here. And since I am terrible at reading subtext, um I usually rely on people being like straightforward about everything. I remember that was one of the biggest things that Esabelle and I had to work through when we first became friends is she didn't realize how much of her normal speak was subtext. Like when she would say I'm busy, I would get super confused by that. And I'd be like, "What do you mean by you're busy? How can you be so busy you don't have time to text on the toilet?" And she's just like, "Couldn't you infer that what I'm doing that was busy was so busy that it would make it hard to text on the toilet?" And I was like, "No, because I am not a mind reader. And if you know anything about psychology, my personality type is like one of the worst at reading subtext. Like I am that guy that like someone like glares at me and I will assume that that person doesn't like me, even though I have since discovered that those people do like me. It's just that their eyebrows happen to be thick, and so it looks like they're always glaring. And I've also learned that some people have a resting face that is not actually angry. It's just when they relax their face, it just happens to look like negativity. Like I remember on one of my mission trips where my friend Allison was there. That's actually how we became friends, was through that mission trip. The way her eyes were shaped was in such a way that when she was just resting her face, it would look like she was about to cry. And I would often like go up to her and I'd be say, "Oh, are you okay?" And she'd be like, "Yeah, I'm fine. Why?" And I'd be like, "Cause you look like you're about to cry." And she's like, "No, that's just how my eye sockets were designed. She would say, I'm actually having the time of my life." Same thing with, there's this girl at the gym that I don't see very often. But when I do, I remember when she first started coming to the gym, I thought she was just being polite. But it turns out that, she actually does enjoy my company. It's just, again, I don't think she shaves her eyebrows at all. So it just looks like she's angry and pensive, but in actuality, she's actually very polite. And she even remembered to say goodbye to me after she finished working out, which I was super happy about. She has a boyfriend, so don't get any ideas. But, casually talking to people, nothing wrong with that. And I think like she knows that I casually talk to everyone at the gym. So I think she'd probably feel left out if I didn't, if I'm being honest. Because that's just how I am. Like, obviously, I won't talk to every single person at the gym because I still am very nervous approaching new people. That was okay. That was probably the hardest part of the Catholic Creator Conference, if I'm being honest, is it was extremely difficult to approach people because I'm more of a one-on-one kind of person. Here in this live chat, it's okay because I can like treat each comment like it's one person talking. But when you're in person, it's just a whole different story because, like, you hear everyone's voices, and it's like it contributes to it feeling like there's like a lot going on, and then you like don't want to interrupt if people are already talking to each other. And then there's like, what if the person who you try to say hi to is like the super shy person that actually just wanted alone time? Again, I'm incapable of reading subtext, so I don't know. Does the person want to be alone, or does the person want me to talk to him or her? I have no clue. So thankfully, one of my subscribers who was there, her name's Hallelujah, she was really good at being what I call a people mixer. Like, she would see that I was sitting by myself and she'd say, "Hey, Paul, let me go introduce you to a couple of people." And I think if it wasn't for her, I don't think I would have met as many people as I did. There was one girl that I spent a lot of time with. Her Instagram is Catholic Cat Designs, if you want to go and follow her. Cat with a C, by the way. And we had, like, I approached her because she was sitting by herself. And we ended up getting along so well that she actually let me give her a tour of the campus, which, mind you, I'm not a student there, but I went there when I was in high school. And I loved it so much. Well, I actually didn't like that conference all that much at all, but I liked the scenery so much that I liked reliving it because those scenic locations were some of the best parts of the conference. And again, I don't need to repeat the whole story. I made a whole video about it called My Experiences at the Steubenville Conference. So if you want to hear like all that went on there, go for it. But in short, there was my youth group was not treating me too well on that trip. Everyone else was great. Like, everyone outside of my youth group was fantastic. Well, that wasn't saying much because I didn't really like girls all that much back then. I'm pretty sure I identified as asexual. So I definitely wasn't trying to hit on anyone. The few girls that I did talk to, though, were really, really nice. Like, there's this one girl I met that I called the Hill Girl. And to this day, I think she's one of the people that I'm the most excited to see again in heaven, assuming God's grace allows her to be there. I deeply regret that I didn't get her number because I thought that my dad didn't want me getting numbers from strangers, but it turns out he never actually said that, and I just misunderstood. But again, I've learned that there's something really special about Holy Communion, and that's that it is literally a time machine. When we receive Holy Communion at Mass, we are temporarily transported to Calvary. Now, obviously, we can't like see our surroundings change around us. It's more of like one of those invisible realities kind of thing. But during the moment when we receive Holy Communion, we are not only traveling back in time to Calvary, but we're also like closer to the communion of saints than is actually possible elsewhere. Because, like, technically, I think I heard somewhere that the communion of saints is like celebrating Mass at the same time we are. Because, you know, they're quantum, they can like bilocate and all that. So for me, Holy Communion is always my favorite part of Mass, although I don't think that's an unpopular opinion. Because one, I got miraculously healed at Eucharistic adoration. So I've been very devoted to the Eucharist ever since. And two, I never drink alcohol except at Mass. So it's like the one time that I can finally drink something alcoholic. But I have never heard of a person getting drunk after just a sip. So I think that's why it's permitted. Although I have heard of one priest back when he was a transitional deacon who drank, because back then the transitional deacons had to drink all of the leftover precious blood, and he drank so much of it that he had a drunken slur when he was saying the dismissal. That priest had some hilarious stories. I wish I could share them on my YouTube channel, but then that would get rid of the just Paulism aspect, and then then it would be more about him than me. And besides, I've been told that one of my greatest gifts is storytelling, that people really like hearing my stories. And to be honest, that was a real shock to me because, again, as I've said too many times, not good at reading subtext. If people don't outright say, Paul, I like your stories, I'm not going to pick up on it. But I at the very least got the impression that people at the Catholic Creator Conference really liked hearing my stories. Because I do remember there were two girls that came in while I was in mid-story. And I got the impression that they were like, oh, this story is actually pretty cool. Let's stop what we're doing and hear him out. And at one point, I think I had like 6 people, like all listening to the story of how I got miraculously healed and the story of how I got out of depression. Like they didn't clap or anything like that, but they all said something along the lines of, thank you so much for sharing your story, Paul. And I got the impression that when they all said, like, dude, we'll follow your channel, that they actually meant it. Because, they're all Catholic. People at Franciscan University of Steubenville, if you've never been there, they are, like, serious about their Catholic faith, like, really serious about it. At least they were when I was in high school. But I got the impression that that was still the case when I was there. And hearing all of these students just treat me so well throughout the whole conference and saying like, dude, we're going to follow your channel and you can hang out with us all you want. Heck, I think I hung out with more better than I hung out with the people that were actually at the conference. And I think if it wasn't for them, I think I would have probably considered it like a good time, but not a spectacular time. But because they were so nice and so supportive, I think I would say it was in the realm of spectacular. So I know we're all having a blast, but I think I'm going to end it here just so that I can have some dinner. But I do want to, before I go, I do want to thank everyone who came. While I'm doing that, please type in if there's like one last. Oh, hey, we got another ISTJ. Very nice. Hello, Stormlight's Lenbo. I'm going to need a nickname for that. But I'm actually just about to wrap it up. So, not you. Yeah, that's right. That's my type. A lot friendlier than what you would expect for that. Oh, you know Myers-Briggs too. How nice. You know, INFPs, I have heard, are actually surprisingly polite when you're not challenging their views. I definitely got FJ vibes from you. So I have since learned that is not exclusive. So let me thank everyone here. Thank you, David, aka Lodo. Thank you, Gwyn. Thank you, Stormlight. Sorry that you came in late, but dinner, kind of a bit of a priority there. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Jevel. Thank you, Grayley. Just gonna double check that I haven't missed anyone. Wow. Wow, you guys are great. Like, I appreciate you all coming despite me having webcam troubles. Oh, Matthew. Good thing I scrolled. Thank you, Tradclad Matthew. All right, I got everyone. Yeah, you all have a wonderful time. Stormlight, if you ever want to see me again without missing it, my general time of live streaming is between 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am going to try to do some streams a bit later in the day so that a friend of mine from Australia can start coming in, but that's going to be more of the exception rather than the norm. I might do it tomorrow, though. I don't think I have anything going on tomorrow, so maybe, don't count on it, but maybe you'll see me from between 7 to 9 p.m. EST tomorrow. But for now, thanks a bunch for showing up, guys, and you can't see my hands, but you know I'm doing it. Remember to keep the faith, stay epic, and God bless. Bye.